Hey there, it is day 24 of the 1, 2, 3 Draw 30-day challenge. We are closing in here. So today we are drawing acorns, going with my nature and seed planting theme this week. So we're going to start again with an egg shape. So I'm going to give this a little ground line first, just so that I know exactly where I want to start, but that's it. And I'm going to make my first acorn facing this way. So it's going to hit the ground past the line. And I'm going to make it about the size of a regular chicken egg that you have from the grocery store. So that's about the size. And then it goes to a point because acorns have a small point there. Now I'm going to put a little hat on it. So I'm going to turn the paper facing myself. And I think about this as if I were drawing a hairline on a human. So just bringing this dome around like that. And then at this point here, I'm going to make it look like it goes behind the egg a little bit. And then over here, same thing, make it go over and around. And then I can sharpen that line up. Now for this top part that I have all these sketchy lines on, I'm going to make it just a little flatter on the top. And I'm going to clean up all my sketchy lines that are outside the hat. Done. All right, so now for the shadow. I am going to do this in color, but for today, for this first part, I'll just do straight pencil. So I'm going to first go down the center of the acorn to make that first row. And we want to make this look like wood grain. You know, an acorn turns into an oak tree, which you could cut into wood someday. So this looks like wood grain. So we're making lots of sketchy lines, and some of them I'm making thicker and darker. Okay, then on this side, start to curve this way, always going from the point up. All right, almost looks like hair on the back of someone's head. All right, now I'm going to smear it with my finger, and I'm hoping that not all those lines get rubbed out. If they did get rubbed out because you smeared so much, you could just go back. I like to put my pencil on my side. I'm actually getting used to using this small pencil like this. So, I think I like small pencils. All right, so there we go. Now I'm going to leave it like this, but I do want to sharpen my edges a little bit. So I'm going to go back and refine my sketch lines, make them a little sharper and darker. Now let's go for the little hat part. Underneath of the hat, I want to give it a shadow. So this is going to be like landing right on the shell itself. But that top of the acorn, we're going to design a little differently. So we're going to go with a C shape. And it doesn't matter which way you face this, way or that way. And we're going to echo that over and over and over again. Make sure it hits the top and hits the bottom. Hits the top and the bottom. All the way down until you get to the edge. And then we're going to go this way with it. All right. So it's kind of like how we did this sunflower on the center part. Now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to go the opposite way. So I'm going to start in the middle again. And this time my letter C's are going to cross through the other C's. And I'm going to repeat them. Try to ignore the other C's. Just keep making the same pattern until you get to the end. And it just creates like a pattern up there because acorn does have a distinct shell, almost like a pine cone. Now across the edge, actually we're going to color real quick, just to give the light shadow. And smear it with your finger. And now we're going to make V's across the edge, not on the shadow that's under it. This stays on the shell. This is going to be on the hat, letter V, right above the shadow. Little tiny V's. And then the second row of them. If you wanted, you could do a third row, but I don't want to wipe out all those little details that we just did. And then a stem. Now I'm going to make the stem kind of stubby because I'm going to connect another shell to it. I'm going to scribble in the stem, make it look like it's a rough bark. All right, now I'm going to put a puddle on the ground so that we can see that the acorn cast a shadow. So a little puddle of acorn that touches the acorn at that spot, but this spot is in the air, so a little bit up in the air there. And then I'll make its little shadow have some detail of the stem as well. give that some darkness, and then you're going to smudge it with your finger. And where it connects, the shadow connects to the acorn, make sure that that line has got some darker value of pencil there so that it looks like there's a separation. All right, there we go. Smear that in, and you're ready to start another acorn. So the directions for the next acorn are just going to be make another egg shape somewhere on the paper. If you want to make it closer behind the other one, you can, or they can connect. So I've got my egg there. I'm going to put the little hat on over here, and this stem is going to bend upright, and this one can connect. So we've got now two that become part of each other. I can scribble those in. Okay, so now I am going to do this one with the color pencils so that you can see it happen from regular pencil over to color. So I'm going to be using 4 different color pencils. I've got a dark brown, a light brown, a tan, and a green. If you don't have a tan, you could use white and just color brown real light and put white over top, and that will work as tan. All right, we're going to get started with some dark brown. And I'm going to be coming around in this area and outlining the original acorn. And where that shadow was, I'll go ahead and shadow the hat. And I'll make that top of that hat shadow over here. All right, so you can see it looks a lot like how it was over there. And then I'm going to use this dark brown to put the lines in, but not 100 lines, just like a few. And then I'm going to give that dark brown a little rest and switch to some regular brown. This is called sienna. All right, so I'm going to color kind of lightly with this, so I still see those lines, and I'm going to go in the same direction as those lines. Now, acorns have different stages, and sometimes they are green. Sometimes they turn brown slowly, and they keep some of their green for a little while. So up here, I'm going to use green. And there's also different varieties of oak trees, so you'll find different varieties of acorns. There are some that are more tubular. There are some that are like stubbier and rounder and not so egg-shaped. All right, so you see my 2 colors now together. Now, if you don't have tan, you could use white for this, but I do have tan, and I'm going to use it pretty heavy now. And it's going to blend in those other colors. I'm even going to put some of that tan over top of the green to make the green look a little bit more natural. And I may even go over this a second time, a little darker, depending on how I feel about it after I go over it one time. Okay, I think that looks like it's got a nice color to it. I'm going to get some of my white and show you what the white does. Let's see, there's a white. So if I take white and I press on it really, really hard, the white kind of lightens it and blends it at the same time. So it really makes it look smooth too. And this part of the acorn is smooth, but the top part is not, so I would not use that white up there. I feel like I lost some of that dark shadow there, so I'm going to take my brown back again and just give this a little bit more of that darker brown color. All right, so now for the details in the shell, just like we did before, but I'm going to go to that dark brown again. And I'm going to make my letter C shape, curve, repeat the curve. And then I'm going to go opposite curve. And then I'm going to take this and make the V's. Even if you don't see them, it's okay. Do it anyway. All right, so now I'm going to go back to, I think actually I'm going to use this brown, but real light. The shells are kind of dull in color, and I can go right into outlining this with that darker brown. And I'm not going over this part with anything to smooth it out because it is a rough part of the shell. So I want to use that color pencil texture and just let it be. Now I'm going to go back to regular pencil again because I want to see some of this shadow here look more like a shadow and less like some brown coloring. And I'm going to use pencil again for the shadow that falls under the acorn. Okay, so now you are done unless you want to continue on to color your second acorn. However, don't forget that this does not have to have a full coloring job. I think that just the plain pencil looks just as nice. So good luck. Tomorrow we're going to be concentrating on oak leaves. So I think it'll be a little bit more challenging. So tomorrow oak leaves, and then the day after that we're going to do the whole oak tree and thousands of leaves. So stay tuned and hope you come back for 25 and 26.